Hi everyone, Paul Morbid here, Morbid Team Entertainment and Bolex Repair Philippines. Welcome to episode 4 of an overhaul on a Bolex P2. So, if you do have some type of slippage issues with your take-up spindle, alright, and the case is not that you've gotten any oil or grease on the take-up spindle, meaning that you didn't lubricate it here, which you should not do, or here, because as I mentioned in a previous video, this pad, this brown pad under here, if you do lubricate the top or the bottom, the oil is going to penetrate and then also penetrate inside this pad right here and cause the take-up spindle to slip, and you don't want that. So if you haven't lubricated it, which is good, you don't want to, let me show you what to do. You want to dismantle this, and it's very easy and very straightforward. Just simply unscrew it, hold your finger and thumb down on it. It's fairly spring loaded, this metal piece right here. Alright, so there's your screw. Okay, next you have a gear. Let's remove the gear. Next you have this leaf spring, and this is it, this leaf spring right here. Okay, so what you can do is this. Here's generally the issue. You can either make yourself a new one of those with some new piece of metal, which is like this. Okay, it's very thin, as you can see, and you can take either a pair of clippers and cut it out, as I do. If you have a drill, you can do that too, and then resort to your diamond files for filing everything down and smoothing it. And then it's just a matter of bending the part out, which is very straightforward, very easy to do, but yes, it is time consuming. So once you have that done, you can craft this new leaf spring here. So what you do with that is just simply bend it back. You can see its construction. And generally, that is the entire issue right there. Okay? But you want to clean these parts here with some rubbing alcohol. Alright, so once you've done that, these two parts here, you want to check for any type of dirt or debris up under them. Okay? So this is the part here. And you don't want to get any type of anything up under there. Alright? There you go there. I'll actually put it off to this side. And this part. Now you'll notice with this part, under with the take up, that there's some old grease. Well, this is just old graphite grease. And if you're first getting yours in, your Bolex P2, you know, there's unless the seller has a guarantee that the camera's had a new full CLA, then otherwise no Bolex works properly and great. So just take it apart before you put film in it. To film with it, clean it. I've got on this microfiber cloth alcohol on this part of it, and on this rubbing alcohol on a microfiber cloth. So I'll clean this off. I can now put this to the side. And why am I wearing a glove and not touching it? It's because the body oils from the fingers will get on there, and you don't want that. Okay, you can also remove the take-up spindle at this point simply by just picking this piece up, putting your fingers up under there, and catching it. Alright, so there you are there. Just what you want to do is simply clean this part at the bottom. And on the inside, just put some rubbing alcohol inside and pour it back out into microfiber cloth. Now we're just going to clean it off just like this. Pretty simple, very basic to do. Alright. Place that part over there. This part, this leatherette part, if you will, just kind of with the microfiber cloth and the alcohol, just rub it around here. Be careful with it. This part will crack. It will break in half if you put too much pressure on it. So be very careful with this part. Get you a good shot of that. Alright. So once we get that done, that's out of the way. Again, I just put this part right up here again. Yep, that looks like it's good. I just want to check this. You can also dismantle this as well. It's got one of those locking washers on it that once you pop it out, if it gets lost, it's maybe totally gone. Alright, back to this. Take yourself some more rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip. Apply that on there. And here in this area, right under the take-up spindle, clean off that old graphite grease, and that's what it is graphite grease. It's another reason you don't want to put sewing machine oil here, because there's already graphite grease here previously. Okay. But what about the inside? Well, I'm going to take some more on the other end of the Q-tip. And run that in there. Just around the tip right there. There we go. And I'll show you directly how to get totally inside of this. As you can see, the Q-tip will go in to a certain degree, as you can see there. But it won't go in all the way. Let me show you how to get in all the way. Okay, rubbing alcohol, webbing cleaner. I'm going to put some rubbing alcohol on this, just like so. And it's going to go right up inside of here. Just like that. Move it in and out and give it some turns. And that will do the trick. Cleaning that part. There we go. Also, do remember to clean this part right here. And if you want to use some metal polish or Brasso, that's great as well. For now, I've got a microfiber cloth with some alcohol on it. Clean this off. because I will be dismantling this camera again. Alright, good enough. Next, graphite grease, just a touch, as you can see. And we're going to put it around in this area here. Just like that. You don't have to put it around all the way around, just because remember, this thing's going to spin. And you're done. Now, I do want to point something out. You've probably heard me say, I'm sure you've heard me say, and I hope you have heard me say, not to apply any type of graphite grease or sewing machine oil or any lubrication to this part right here, and that's very true. However, just at the underbody of this particular gear, well, not gear, but plate rather, that graphite grease is going to stay there, as originally there was some. This is where you can add the graphite grease here, just a small amount. It's not going to go anywhere, not under here. It's too far away, okay? But you don't want to add any oil on the other side, on the take-up spindle on the other side. Definitely not on this pad, as it will destroy this pad. That pad will soak it up. So I want to point that out clearly and make sure it's fully understood. Add a touch of graphite grease here. No oil, no sewing machine oil, and no graphite grease on the other side of this disc, nor any on the take-up spindle here at all. Okay? Just want to point that out and make that absolutely clear. That graphite grease is just fine. Okay, go ahead and reassemble. And I'll take this disc and put it on there just like that. Okay. Now, there is a bottoming out, a flattening bottom right here at the end of this disc. So is the same of here on the leatherette disc and at the bottom of this gear that I want you to see. I've also cleaned these parts previously with rubbing alcohol. So where are you? There you are. Take a good look. See how it's flat down there at the bottom? We're going to make sure everything fits to each other accordingly. Okay, next we have this part. This leatherette disc. Remember, it has a bottoming out right at the end here, just like with this disc here. We're going to place these in a sequence with one another. Concerning that, make sure that disc is clean on the front and back. Alright. Next is this leaf spring right here. If you make your own, as I pointed out previously, when you finished, when it's still silver, take a blowtorch or just a igniter and blue it by just with a pair of pliers, like I've done in one of my videos, making another handcrafting a Bolex part. Heat it, make it blue just like this on both sides. Then after you've worked on it just a bit, submerge it into water and then heat it again. Okay, that will blue it, and so it will not rust. And just simply make the bends in it. That's it. Okay. And to adjust it, if it's the take-up is slipping, also make your adjustments in bending it, just like that. Okay. Put this on just like so. You want to make sure that you center this with the brown disc. It's a little irritating to put on. Okay, in other words, you want brown showing all the way around here when you put this leaf spring on. Next you have to apply the gear, and I'll have to cut the camera off because I have to get this flattening out part right here matched up down here, okay, with the other two parts. I have to get the camera off to set that because it takes a lot of time and it's just really irritating. Okay, I'm going to show you a bit how I do attach this on here. Just bottoming out. Alright, so just now I'm going to cut the camera off to get everything situated. Alright, so I can do this as painless as possible. Once you get everything situated in there, screw is in. All right. There we go. Remember, you don't want to get anything too tight on here. Okay, there we go. Okay, you see how everything's seated, which way the leaf spring is pointed? It's pointed towards the take-up spindle on the opposite side where the film is loaded. Now you can double check your work to make sure everything is seated properly by turning it, and everything will turn properly. Okay, so there you go, just like so. Okay, and that'll do it. Okay, so as you can see, everything's turned properly again. Everything's moving together. And if I put my hand around the back, everything's moving all together. Do contact me at the social media outlets listed on the screen. And remember, as always, do subscribe. Until next time, see ya.